What's going on, everybody? John here, bringing you another film review. Super stoked you could join me today. Today we're going to talk about 2003's Rob Zombie's film House of a Thousand Corpses. Now, House of a Thousand Corpses was written and directed by Rob Zombie himself, and it stars. This is going to be an array of cast, but it features the late Sid Haig, Sherry Moon Zombie. We got Bill Moseley. We also, and I'm gonna have to read a couple of these guys out. So we also have Karen Black as well, Rainn Wilson, Chris Hardwick, and the late Dennis Fimple. This is his last film that he actually did too. House of a Thousand Corpses. This was Rob Zombie's major film debut. I mean, he's directed music videos and stuff like that, and I think he did like some animation stuff too as well. So when it comes to House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie took on the task of creating a whole film. I think it was based off a maze that he was doing actually for Universal, and then it got into production to become a movie, a full-length film. So with House of a Thousand Corpses, and the story is basically a group of kids are driving cross country, writing a book about the side attractions that they come across and stuff like that. So of course they run into a family of kind of like hillbillies that are basically serial killers and stuff like that. So they are not in for a good time. They actually run into Captain Spaulding, which is Sid Haig's character, and Sid Haig's character owns a gas station that has like a kind of like a little bit of an attraction and stuff like that. And then from there, they actually hear about the legend of Dr. Satan. So Dr. Satan is kind of like the town legend of that place. And these kids get very intrigued and they want to go and find out about Dr. Satan. So they ask Captain Spaulding, hey, show us this place. We want to know where it is. And so, of course, Captain Spaulding gives them the directions. But lo and behold, they get sent to basically the Fireflies house, which is the family of murders that feeds upon people that come across their town and stuff like that. So they hold like a kind of like a Halloween ritual type of deal. And what happens is these four kids get trapped, and their car gets stranded in the road, and of course it's built for like being entrapped inside of a house with these murderous people. So of course you get introduced to all the characters. We get introduced to Bill Moseley's character, which is Otis, who is kind of like the head of the whole family. And then you get Mother Firefly, and then you get Sherry Moon Zombie's character, which is Baby. Baby is a character in herself, which is really cool. The thing that's really cool about this film is that so Rob Zombie created these characters, and every character has their own personality, which is really cool. Like Captain Spaulding is of course the clown, and he's got the witty remarks, and he talks a lot of shit and stuff like that. And then you get Otis, and Otis is more of the serious one. He's more of the rough motherfucker who just doesn't give a shit, and he's like there to have fun and kill for the pleasure of it. Baby's more of the loony one. She's got like a quirky like attitude and just like really out there and stuff like that, and a little spunky, but like she's definitely not all there either. She's crazy as shit. And you got Tiny as well. Tiny, I forgot who the actor who played him. I'm sorry, I forget his name, but he also passed away as well too. He did a great job as well being Tiny, which is, Tiny is like a fucking 7 foot tall beast of a person. So Tiny was a good character, and then Grandpa too was awesome. So they all had their personalities that brought the film to like give it its own flavor, its own style. Rob Zombie definitely, you can tell takes he takes like the Charles Manson family, and then he also takes Texas Chainsaw and like all these horror elements that he's like with like serial killers, real serial killers, and old horror movies, and he combined it into like a really good film, like a really great film. I like it for the most part. It's especially for being like his full film debut was really cool. I mean, it was awesome. The story was great. I think for me, I really didn't care that much about it's the very last parts of the film. It kind of gets a little bit too exaggerated in a way. Like I love the whole murders family and like the crazy shit that they do and how they lure people, and you're just kind of like on edge the whole time. But when it comes to the very end of the film, it kind of falls flat in my opinion, because when we get to meet the father Ed, I mean, I love when they meet Dr. Satan. They actually end up seeing Dr. Satan, but he kind of is all overshadowed and he doesn't get that much screen time, and it was supposed to be a big build up about meeting Dr. Satan. But what happens is that it gets overshadowed by the dad. His name is Ed, but Ed's character I didn't care for because you don't really give a shit because you don't really know too much about him. You get a little bit of a backstory of him, but when he comes out, he's like a mutated freak thing, and it just doesn't work because the whole family is like, for the most part, look, they're all human looking, and they don't look like, I mean, they're creepy as shit, and no, like, they're fucking scary as fuck looking. But when it comes to Ed's part, when he comes out, it just looks like a mechanical kind of monster, and it kind of took away from like everything else from the film. That's like the one thing. If they made Ed like just like this psycho hillbilly looking dude like everybody else looks in the film, that would have been great. But his whole appearance was just like, it wasn't that cool. But the whole film is awesome. The dialogue is fucking great. Sid Haig is so fucking hilarious in this film, and he's just crazy as shit. Bill Moseley's lines too are fucking great. Everybody's got some fucking great lines. The soundtrack is really fucking cool too. You got like a lot of cool like old school music, then you also got like punk rock, and then you also got just a combination of a bunch of stuff. And then Zombie was throwing in like little elements of like side stories that never really made it to the film actually, which is kind of crazy because he wanted to do this thing called Skunk Ape was another thing he wanted to add in it, and Skunk Ape was going to be like a Bigfoot side character, like a side story in between the whole movie. But there's parts of it in there, but it just isn't, it never comes to anything. So that's one thing that kind of happens in this film is like there's stuff included in the movie that doesn't really make some sense because it's just like, wait, what the hell was that for? But it was intended to make sense because he had a different vision, but it didn't come to full length in the whole thing. It just kind of, some of it got scrapped away. It's going to take too long, cost too much money. He only had so much money to work with from Universal, and then I believe Lionsgate picked it up, and it just had like a couple of different issues I remember reading about. And then also one crazy thing was with the appearance of Ed, the dad. I guess I read there was a part where he swings the axe at the chick like kind of towards the very end, and it was a real axe, and the actor couldn't really see through all the prosthetic and the mask, I guess. And so the girl had to like duck in time to avoid getting hit by a fucking real axe. So I guess Rob Zombie was saying that I guess he counted as lucky stars that he hoped that she didn't get fucking hit by that axe. But yeah, I feel like, if you're into like serial killers, if you're into like just crazy shit, like dark comedy, um, just kind of like I guess kind of like a torture film in a way too. I mean, it's not very torturous, but it's pretty fucked up. I mean, it kind of throws elements, like I said, of like serial killers and what they would do. And yeah, overall, it's a great film. Zombie had a lot of stuff that he didn't get to make either from this film. Like I guess when he was creating this thing called Fish Boy, I won't say what it is, but you can probably guess. But I heard it was a little bit more gorier too, and just had a lot more going on for it. But I guess it was gonna get like an NC-17 rating or something like that, or he, just, I think it was going to be a rated X film or something like that, but he had to chop off a lot of stuff basically to get this film made so that it actually was made to theaters and could get a rated R. Yeah, and I think Rob Zombie did a great job, definitely being like his first film, like full length film, and creating these characters. I mean, Captain Spaulding is so freaking cool. Otis is crazy. Baby is awesome. Mother Firefly is nuts. Tiny, everybody. He created these characters, and they still live on to this day as being like, when you see posters and stuff like that, and just like T-shirts, you know what movie that is. It's either House of a Thousand Corpses or like Devil's Rejects, because obviously that's a sequel. And I think it's a great film. Like I said, I didn't like the very ending of the film, and that's just me personally. I don't know. I know that critics shat on this film, like they said it fucking sucked, but fuck the critics. Who gives a shit what the critics say? I mean, they're pretty much wrong all the time, in my opinion. I don't fucking listen to them. But the audiences loved it, and it became a cult classic, and it's still like a cult classic to this day. And I think it will live on to be a great cult classic, especially with House of a Thousand and Devil's Rejects. Three from Hell kind of gets a little dicey, but overall, I will definitely give House of a Thousand Corpses, a solid, I'll give it an 8.5 out of the 10. It's a great film. I guess from me preventing it from giving like at least like a 9 or almost a 10 is just that ending was just like I said. But overall, great film, fantastic cinematography, a fantastic soundtrack, great acting, great dialogue. I can't praise it enough. Go watch House of a Thousand Corpses and then watch Devil's Rejects, because you're in for a great surprise if you haven't seen either one of those films. And if you enjoyed this little film review, give me a like, subscribe, share, leave some comments below. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to hear about.